The right of first selection have chosen second pick. G2 have picked blue side once again. So it's kind of a mirror of game 1, where MKOI did choose to have second pick. On the blue side, we have the Aphelios, the Gwen, and the Nami bans. On the red side, Varus and Azir.
Yeah, those are some interesting bans from G2. Very like targeted, very niche.
Very targeted.
Yeah. So they want to deny Supa from having like a 1v9 carry potential.
But what AD
with the
carry are
Aphelios.
you thinking of? What is Aphelios good into?
Yunara. That's the one
has
champion
snuck its
that
way
is still
through,
up.
yeah.
And
has,
Aphelios
yeah,
is a pretty good matchup into it.
That's probably a first pick Yunara here for sure, right?
But MKOI have got to know that's what's going to happen. So then what do you pick into the Yunara?
Corki, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you also maybe ban the Nami, so they don't get the Corki Nami combo.
Yeah. And then the Gwen would suggest that G2 is also looking at a Cassante topside as well,
Yeah.
or at least some tankier option. Seems to be taking their time, but Yunara feels like, yeah, I mean, it's the most obvious pick. So what's the trade here for KOI? What are you giving up? Or like, what is your priority? Because you have to expect the Yunara to come through. It's got to be something either in the jungle that they really want to get their hands on. Maybe Aatrox?
Could be an Aatrox flex. I wouldn't mind it, especially with the fact that they are on the red side. They could flex it all the way to 5. Probably just going to be ADC Loki, and I would expect the Corki, unless Supa has something else in store for us. It's going to be the Corki.
I love the way you, with a small amount of hope in your voice, you're like, unless Supa has something else first. No, just going to be the Corki here for Supa. Tend to see junglers relatively early, but it's Aurora coming out.
Aurora.
I mean, it is going to be a flex, right? You can put it mid or top. I think we've seen Myrwyn play it a few times, not this year, but in years past.
Oh, I have full faith in Myrwyn. Like,
Yeah.
It very much feels like it's within his wheelhouse. Perhaps as a deterrent to the Cassante.
I think it's not good at the Cassante though. Or it's like, it's whatever.
I mean, it definitely is good into Cassante.
Yeah,
just
but
to
it's
be
not
clear.
like, it's not like,
But you don't outscale Cassante.
yeah, Cassante's fine into it, is more what I mean.
Yeah.
Myrwyn actually has 3 times as many games on Aurora as Jojo. Jojo has 3 games on it all time, and Myrwyn has 10.
Oh, wow. What's his win rate?
Jojo's is 1 of 3.
Okay.
Myrwyn's is 50%.
Okay.
Both of them under their career win rates.
Not the numbers you'd maybe hope to try to make the reverse sweep happen here. That's going to be the Lulu locked in for Labrov. They have that Yunara Lulu combo with the front line in the top lane.
I'm going to be completely honest with you, gentlemen. I really like the foundation that G2 have in contrast to KOI's.
It's a very solid foundation.
Like, I feel like Aurora blind is a very risky thing to do. I think she really suffers from range. And I think that you have to have a lot of enablers. I think Rakan is a nice idea, but how do you both feel about Rakan into Lulu, both in lane and later into the game?
Yeah, it kind of sucks. You ever jump in, a wild growth on your target immediately knocks you out of
And
your
then
knockup.
polymorph too.
Polymorph as well is really painful. However, Aurora goes between worlds, jumps onto the back line.
Right.
You charm E onto her through the entire enemy team in a magical fairy dreamland that I'm currently living in. It's a perfect engage.
Well, there's that Aatrox we briefly discussed. Poppy going to go away as well.
I think we're going to kind of see a repeat of game 1. With G2, we'll be trying to continue building this kind of disengaged comp that can handle MKOI's dive, while MKOI, they're going to be looking to just double down and try to have more threats for G2's carries here. And you see MKOI, they're banning out the Aatrox, which really thrives into having champs coming into it, and they're banning out the Poppy, a really good disengaged champion.
Is this a Volibear angle for SkewMond?
Maybe? I don't know. I feel like Volibear jungle, I have not seen it in so long.
No, I know.
I think it was more like a top lane champ these days.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. It's more so that I'm just thinking about if you need an engage, what options do you have?
Well,
I was looking at Elyoya's champions as well, and I looked at the Jayce, but I didn't think it would make a lot of sense here.
They're kind of pivoting, trying to play more range now with Jayce Corki.
But then I don't like Aurora, because I feel like Corki plus Jayce do have a lot of poke, but Aurora, she's like... Short range is obviously a relative term, but depending on what the enemy mid matchup is, she can really struggle at actually getting in range to do decent poke.
She can kind of be like the finisher, like you poke them down and then Aurora tries to finish them off. I do agree with you, Betty, that I'm not the biggest fan, as it looks like G2 will go for the old, tried and tested Ahri Wukong that we've been seeing quite a bit. Ahri sets up Wukong really nice. They can both dive really deep. It doesn't have that kind of disengage, but I think it's a nice pivot after Elyoya locks in the Jayce.
So where is the Aurora going is the question. Is it going to be used into the Cassante, or does KOI have something else in mind?
How do you shut down the Ahri if you're going to pivot this Aurora? Is it something like the Cass? It works well into the Yunara and into the Wukong?
I mean, Cassio is very good into Ahri. She really struggles to trade in lane, and like if you ever use Q on the wave, Cassio then has nothing to be afraid of. You will just always out-trade her.
This MKOI comp, isn't it so difficult to play? You're
Absolutely.
playing Rakan with no front line. Like, I always think of Rakan as like, it's great follow-up, but it's kind of torture to engage solo, especially when you're up against Cassiopeia, Wukong, Lulu, and you just have nobody that goes in first. It needs to be, I feel like, the only real win con I see for MKOI is either Jojo or Myrwyn getting a huge lead, and then they can just generate so much pressure in fights that they kind of 1v9.
Is there also the argument that you could just play full back foot? Say, we'll poke you out. Obviously, the Cassandra is going to be difficult to do that with, and Wukong has the clone. But we'll poke you out, and then when you engage, Rakan is used as also a pseudo-disengage tool in that regard?
Yeah.
Yeah, not too confident. Yeah. It could work, but I mean, it means that Rakan doesn't have to go in solo,
if SkewMond goes too deep, there's definitely a world where I see Rakan peels that off nicely, but I feel like if SkewMond goes for a little flank, Caps plays the engage pretty well. G2 don't need to like fully commit in such a way that it's easy for MKOI to play. And I think Jojo, I need to see him really have a fantastic game, because I do think if he gets ahead, then he can kind of be the bucket holder, as we talked about before, because he can be the tank, he can be the front line, he can be the space creator and the DPS.
Let's get into game 3 of this best of 5. G2 looking for their 10th final in a row. MKOI looking to get their 3rd, slowly beginning a little bit of a legacy here in the LEC. With a couple of wins under their name, we'll see if they can put G2 down into the lower brackets.
I mean, we've heard conversations around MKOI when their expectations are to be competing internationally. That is where they set their sights. And personally, I never like those conversations, because I think that your focus, like, it devalues what it means to win domestically, but also I think it kind of takes for granted the level of the domestic competition. And I think that what we're seeing right now is like, it's also just very high expectations to then come in and just comfortably be better than everyone else. And right now we are seeing these silly mistakes that Melzet continues to put pressure on them about, and it's understandable why he gets so infuriated by them, because the ceiling of this team often feels so high, but then these silly mistakes are often what cost them very big games.
I mean, I'm torn on it, because as a former pro, I always had it in my head, like, the reason and everything that motivated me was that one day to win Worlds, you know? It's like the dream. I think you always need to have a dream that pushes you to reach those ambitions and goals, but you also need to, like, take it one step at a time.
Right.
And for me, I think sometimes it can kind of feel like nearly like an excuse. Like, it's fine if we're bad right now, because at the end of the day, we have this larger reaching goal that we're going towards. And I think there's a healthy way of doing it, and then there's also just kind of this feeling of underestimating your opposition, because we're going to Worlds is the main focus. So I agree with you, Vic.
It's the sort of, we excuse mistakes now because we are scaling up.
Well, I can tell you now, Melzet is not excusing anything.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
He is.
100%.
Yeah, that man is holding his team to a very high standard, and they're going to need to deliver to bring about a reverse sweep. So we did talk about this Aurora versus Cassante matchup. Early on, it is horrible for the Cassante. Aurora is such a good lane bully. I do often prefer seeing her in top lane. Oh.
What? Oh my god! Caps just hits him with the flash charm.
I mean, that's revenge for game 1. TP's in front of his face, and then Caps finally gets to put the doubters to bed.
And that's why he didn't mention his name. He was asked about the best mid laners. He said Yahoo, he said Poppy, but Jojo was not on the list.
Oh my goodness. And this is such a difficult matchup for Ahri. He's been dodging those Qs very well. I want to get a replay back, see if he does the E flash, because that's what it felt like he did initially to channel it up.
Elyoya here going to keep Broken Blade in lane. Broken Blade, though, is healed up a ton with that Doran shield. Jojo did TP back, the chance going out. Yeah, it's not great at all. That lane not in a good position at all for Caps right now.
Ooh, let's see the replay here. So it starts with...
So the mana's quite low for Jojo. Yeah. He uses everything, and then Caps realizes, hang on a second. Oh, flash into E. Yeah. Beautifully done.
Oh, but great from Jojo with revenge!
I mean, this mid lane matchup, it's delivering.
So,
Jojo.
This is way better for Jojo. Yeah. Because you lose an entire wave if you're Caps, and the reason why Jojo could make that play was because, of course, Caps committed the flash in the previous play, but now Jojo gets all this extra XP, and you can see now there's about a 25% level advantage in favor of Jojo. So the gold now neutralized, but overall, Jojo, he's a happy man.
And one thing that we didn't touch on, I just noticed now, Myrwyn is running the PTA. So really opting to go for this hard lane bully style, and it has resulted in him already having a 300 gold lead and around 2 waves lead. And I think that's a big reason, because in my head I thought the Cassante, yeah, it's a bad matchup in the Aurora, but it wouldn't be such a struggle. But I think with that PTA, Myrwyn has been able to just pretty much auto Broken Blade down and make his life really, really hard.
Using that passive, the Spirit Abjuration as well, stacking up from your auto attacks on enemy champions to a bunch of max HP damage.
And so, coming into this game, I kind of had this mental idea of, okay, you know what, I've been wrong about drafts many times throughout my career, and I'm open to being wrong about this one from KOI. While we have our doubts, I'm open to learning and seeing ways in which it can work. I might have to hold my breath here as both supports have made their way into mid lane. Alvaro.
Ground entrance in from Alvaro, battle dance out. Elyoya still looking for that flank position. Caps on the right side of the wall for a accelerated shock blast. Noxus blast gonna hit. Jojo though still slow. Caps still chunked out. Miasma down. Will force Caps and Labrov just to respect.
This wave is so bad. So if Jojo and Alvaro can just hold this wave, force Caps to recall, the CS lead in mid will continue growing for Jojo. You can see that Caps, he really doesn't want to recall, but now he's so chunked. If Jojo's able to land a Q,
Jojo also about to hit 6. I think one more minion is enough. Labrov coming across. There we are. Jojo gets the petrifying gaze.
Oh yeah, this is horrible.
Caps hits 6 himself. Charm dodged by Jojo. Walks back to the lane.
Oh, I like watching these two mid laners fight. You can see that they are not wasting any time trying to fight. That wave is in a really horrible spot for Caps still. But yeah, so the reason why I brought up that conversation about draft is because right now what we know is KOI have winning mid matchup, and they have winning top. And of course, Jojo dying 1v1, not ideal, but he rectified the situation by getting a 1v1 back.
Polymorph going to get forced to flash away. Accelerated shot blast is going to land though, and now Supa has a flank position. Heal coming out to try and get the extra movement speed. Valkyrie, Labrov flashes away from the ground entrance and shields himself with a help picks to get himself out alive. G2 escapes the clutches, but with a phosphorus bomb! Supa puts Labrov in the dirt.
and Elyoya and Supa there able to start that fight. Elyoya kind of baits them in with Supa being able to move, and alongside Jojo, since Caps was in the base, that was what sealed the deal and allowed MKOI to run them down and pick up that kill on Labrov. There's now more fighting in mid.
Caps dodges the petrifying gaze. SkewMond looking to get in here as well. Still only level 5. Will hit 6 off 2 minions. Gets there, but Alvaro is in there in time to defend Jojo. Caps doesn't want to use another Spirit Rush forward. See what G2 were thinking. Needed a couple of minions to die in the way for SkewMond to get towards that Cyclone.
I mean, a lot of this series has been about bot lane, and I'm glad that we're finally getting to make it about mid, because both of these mid laners are hungry for that action. Jojo not connecting the ulti, opened up a window for G2 to try and find a play. Caps, his hit rate on the charms hasn't been the highest this game, but it looks like G2's looking for more.
SkewMond going in with a Cyclone onto Elyoya. Second Cyclone with the decoy takes the kill. And SkewMond says it can be about mid lane if you want it to be, but I've been running the rift. In the first 2 games, I'll take out Elyoya.
I mean, SkewMond, he knew Elyoya didn't have the flash, and he jumps on the opportunity. He gets him with the Cyclone. As more trades happening around mid, I mean, this game, there is no relaxation here. It just keeps going.
In towards the bottom side onto Hansama. Supa doesn't have the flash, nor does Alvaro. Help picks shield barrier out from Hansama as well. Supa and Alvaro forced back to their tower. Caps low. Jojo has enough for a Noxious Blast on the Twin Fangs. SkewMond's coming in from the side. This charm connects. SkewMond dashes in with an Nimbus strike. Accelerated shock blast. Flash forward. Knock back. Elyoya here in time to save his Canadian mid.
Neither of the teams want to give an inch here, as now Elyoya back in the mid lane, backs Jojo up, and we can see that Jojo is continuing to get the upper hand on Caps here, as he's able to crash the wave and pick up a kill on SkewMond, and that's going to be 3 grubs going over to MKOI.
Elyoya with fantastic timing. I mean, I was worried that Jojo was going way too deep, not respecting enemy jungle, but he had full faith that his jungler would come at just the right time. The hammer knockback, because SkewMond, he tried to read the play. He was like, okay, Jojo might be able to get away from me. If I flash in front of him, I can land one more auto attack. Then the hammer formed to push him away. Created enough space that SkewMond couldn't actually land that last auto. meaning that KOI is able to come out ahead. I mean, it's crazy to think that there's only been 5 kills in this game. Like, the damage dealt must be crazy already.
Yeah, I mean, Vedi, 3rd time's the charm. Let's hear the draft point.
Do you want me to bring the SkewMond down? Petrifying Gaze coming out, Miasma down. Spirit Rush from Caps is available, but he dashes away from the grand entrance, and now SkewMond's here in time to make the play. A polymorph, the dash back in, Jojo gets the kill, SkewMond gets 1 in response. Supports and junglers facing off in the mid lane now, as both the mid laners have been sent to an early grave. Good accelerated shot blast from Elyoya will chunk out SkewMond.
All right, gentlemen, welcome to Fight Club. The only rules of Fight Club is that it has to be in mid lane and only 3 people are allowed at a time.
And we have to talk about it.
My goodness. It is Jojo that finds a kill. Supa now fighting against Hansama. The AD carries don't want to be left out of the action just yet, but Alvaro
can come in. Hansama uses the ultimate, can use those can-maze steps to dash away.
But this game, every time someone is on the same screen, there's an all-in. As Elyoya uses the mid-fight to now pick up that Hextech Drake. As we go into the replayer, it starts with Jojo flash ulting forward, doesn't get the Petrifying Gaze, but Caps is being ran down, he gets the ultimate. Then Caps, he wants to continue the play, so he dashes forward.
Yeah, that was a
Jojo
mistake.
gets the Q, takes him down, so it turns into a 1-for-1.
Yeah, Caps was way too greedy with that. He should have just kept his distance. He thought that with the polymorph duration, maybe he could get in, land a charm, make it impossible for Jojo to actually move. But Jojo was able to come back out of the polymorph just in time in order to get that kill back. 2-2-1 the scoreline of Jojo. Still has a 400 gold lead. Has about a 2-wave advantage in that matchup as well. Top lane, okay, they're there. Myrwyn has built up a very healthy lead, but supports are back in mid lane. Junglers are hovering around the area as well.
It's the but before that supports are back in mid lane. It's obvious, I bet supports will always be back in mid lane in this game. Drake up in 4 minutes time, a long time before we have to play around it. No real objectives on the map apart from the blood of your enemies. Hansama goes in with the barrier.
But the fights don't even make sense. It's just they see each other on the screen and they want to fight.
Alvaro and Elyoya able to catch out Labrov. The quickness in, the Lulu down. Elyoya gets his 2nd of the game. And now Hansama needs to retreat, but the chase can continue from Alvaro. Headfine Gaze there from Jojo. Hansama underneath the tower, surviving for now, but now with a wave coming in, not really too much he can do in this situation. Trading blows with Elyoya will get his 3rd.
Oh, and the top lane as well.
And Myrwyn goes between worlds, dashes away. Broken Blade used the all-out as well. The 2-fold Hex for Myrwyn for a little bit more damage on the Cassante as he tries to retreat, dodges the weirding, and will heal himself up a little bit with that refillable.
There's not a moment to breathe here.
So,
SkewMond's looking for mid.
on mid.
Jojo, no flash.
He's respecting it though, he's cautious. Labrov once again in the mid lane, but here comes the cavalry from KOI.
Good damage onto Caps. That's a Yumu's with a pickaxe and a longsword for Elyoya. And this is, I like the idea of going for these aggressive skirmishes because we said MKOI would struggle to find engages. If your poke is strong enough, you don't actually really need to find those engages. Everyone is half HP, and as we talked about in draft, you can use Myrwyn as a little bit of a finisher.
I mean, my whole draft point was that KOI have winning lanes, both in top and in mid. And I mean, credit to KOI, they're playing through mid very well. They are constantly finding skirmishes that go their way. They're finding successful picks. And you look at the bottom of your screen, individually, there's no significant gold advantage, but collectively, KOI have advantages across the board, and it's netting them an overall 2k gold lead. KOI find themselves in a fantastic position early on. The role quest now starting to be complete for KOI, and remember, those early kills, those early assists, rapidly contribute to the completion of those quests as well.
Yeah, and KOI decided to put Myrwyn bot very early here.
I mean, it's probably because of his role quest completion.
Yeah, but it does delay Supa quite a bit. I think maybe it's partially because of Broken Blade itemizing so heavily into the MR that Supa is just like killing it, but I don't know if this is actually good.
Also gets Supa a little bit of experience by himself. As you can see, Alvaro is down towards that bottom side, so not sure how effective it will be, but it's the decision that MKOI have made as SkewMond looks towards mid lane once again. Both the supports pathing out there. Next main objective, the Rift Herald or the Drake up in about a minute 40. Alvaro going for the engage. Spirit Rush out. Quickness used by Alvaro. Already has that Zeke's convergence complete.
That was kind of insane reaction times from Caps. It felt like that he...
Jojo. Oh, dodges the charm, the flash polymorph, but 3-man petrifying gaze! And Labrov will feel the sting of the twin bangs from Jojo. SkewMond goes back in with the Cyclone, looking for the damage on Jojo, and they just about have it. A 1-for-1 in the exchange. Caps has to flash the knock-up. Alvaro almost dying. Just surviving. TP to the top side from Myrwyn.
Jojo in this game is doing so much. We said it in the draft that Jojo needs to have an amazing performance to put MKOI on his back, and he's having just that. The 3-man petrifying gaze. So now Myrwyn in the top side here, gonna pick up some plates with Matt. Jojo, what a game on Cassio.
I mean, this is how I envision most scrims go.
Yeah,
Like,
this is how scrims go.
This is a great demonstration of what happens behind the scenes, and I mean, we devolve into chaos. Initial engage. So look, Caps predicts the ulti from Alvaro the second he spots Elyoya, so he preemptively uses his ulti. Having 2 charges left means that he then goes in, the charm goes wide, 3-man petrifying gaze, the shock blast from Elyoya to set up onto Labrov, and then it becomes a chase down. Caps is able to get 1 back at the very least, but it's another 2 kills go in the way of KOI.
SkewMond using his flash there as well to try and get into Jojo on the backline. A 1.1k lead for Elyoya. The charm going to stop the quickness here from Alvaro, who does go back in with the grand entrance, but Caps has to use the Spirit Rush to dodge away. Alvaro spending so much time around this mid lane. Hun Summit, the only bit of blue in the gold leads towards the bottom, has had a little bit more support from Labrov than Supa has had from Alvaro.
Jojo feels kind of like a raid boss. I don't know, whenever I see him on my screen, I'm worried for Caps' sake. Even though the gold lead is only like 100, pretty much nothing, he still has so good control of this mid lane here. As you can see, Caps is struggling to even farm.
I mean, this is a really horrible matchup for Ahri. Not only do you lose in terms of health just because of usual itemization, but also just, it's a DPS champ versus a burst champ.
Yeah.
And so if any components of that burst don't connect, then the DPS champ will win. But on top of that, even approaching the wave, you're leaving yourself susceptible to getting poisoned and then run down.
Nice buffer on the weirding there to get out of the Q3. SkewMond, though, still looking good. Prediction from Alvaro to get that grand entrance knock-up on SkewMond.
A big bounce-back game for Alvaro for sure after he got caught so many times in game 2. Right now, there's a lot of fight over vision. The dragon is alive. SkewMond testing the waters. Looks like nothing too much is going to come off the back of it, though. My goodness, what an exciting game 3. Both of these teams battling blow for blow, but it is KOI that is consistently coming out ahead. The dragon being started off. Here comes Caps from mid.
He's got to be aware that this could be happening as the Blob's almost caught out. The Cyclone going in. Jojo gets the petrifying gaze onto Caps, but he's going to fall before they can do too much more. A quickness out of Alvaro, just use and retreat rather than attack, and Caps getting the resets on the Spirit Rush. Almost catches Elyoya with the charm. Hansama steps forward now. His turn to do the damage onto MKOI. They don't want to let Elyoya and Supa escape. Supa trying to get out the phosphorus bomb down, but SkewMond should be able to chase him out even with the barrier. Meanwhile, underneath the tower, a polymorph enough to make it 4 for G2.
Just like that, 8-8 in kills. G2 find a huge fight in the river that KOI was not ready for. A quick collapse, a quick engage, G2 pick up 4 kills.
And G2 strike back here, and it's all of the engage of SkewMond. Even though he doesn't have vision, he knows that they're there, so he's walking up, immediately goes in, and they're able to pick up Jojopyun so fast, and Supa's not actually able to join the fight. Hansama has the first move, Supa has to walk around, and I thought that Elyoya and Supa would be fine here, but they choose to split up, because Elyoya wants to stay under tower while Supa goes up. And I think if they tried to stay together, maybe they could have traded 1 kill at least back. But G2, they play both fronts well, and they pick up 4 kills.
And a tower in the bottom lane as well.
And a gold lead.
And a Drake.
That was a 3k gold swing off that singular fight.
It's another situation where a single moment swings the whole game. KOI did so much in terms of building up their lead, finding good skirmishes. But the thing is, I don't think that that was inherently a mistake from KOI. It just felt like that G2 had such a clear game plan of how they wanted to approach it. It was KOI that was setting up the trap onto G2, but it was G2 that ended up springing it and finding themselves all those kills.
I think that's the difficulties of this KOI comp. You saw that Elyoya got some poke onto Labrov, but they really need to execute the fights better than G2, or they need to get a huge amount of poke down to disallow SkewMond from really getting any sort of engage. Because if G2 can just have a normal team fight where Caps lands a charm, SkewMond gets the Cyclone, it's easy pickings for G2.
And we're seeing another situation where this is pretty consistent for Hansama. He'll stay even with his opponent AZ carry, and the moment that his team gets a lead, look at that massive swing in gold. 1.2k gold lead, the advantage for him. 2 items completed on this Yunara. He's got a Lulu at his back.
With the Ardent Sensor.
With the Ardent Sensor as well. So, I mean, G2 now find themselves in a very scary position once again.
It's going to be hard for MKOI to fight back from here, but have managed to get 2 items on Elyoya, who still holds almost 1,000 gold lead, as is Myrwyn. Yet to get that second item. Elyoya's done a bit of dentistry, stolen a fang out of Jojo's mouth, has the Serpents as their second item, with the Last Whisper alongside it. And for Jojo, trying to get up towards that second item himself, but Caps Lichbane Malignance already complete. Fiend Hunter Bolt's Kraken Slayer for Hansama. You can see, like, Jojo's been put in a side lane to try and deal with Broken Blade, but Broken Blade with the Kainic Rukun and extra magic resist on top of it is able to survive. Caps just gets out, and now SkewMond's going to jump onto Myrwyn. No Between Worlds, no flash on the Aurora.
Don't do it.
To try and go across the veil, but unable to escape the clutches of the Cyclone. Pulled in to the eye of the storm as SkewMond claims his fort.
Caps was really thinking about going back in to see if he could get that kill. Myrwyn coming so close to securing that kill, but it's another pick going the way of G2. And it feels like the game is quickly slipping out of the hands of KOI. The early game, even though it was chaotic, it did feel like it was in their control. They were the ones determining how these skirmishes would go. But now the game feels as though it is G2 dictating the pace. 2 minutes until Dragon. There is the Baron alive. I don't expect that to be the next objective. These outer towers likely going to be what G2 is focusing on.
And the problem is that MKOI are kind of fumbling with the stronger pieces. They're fighting around Jojo that had a big lead on Caps, and they still lost. Myrwyn, who was level 14 to Caps level 12 there, nearly solo killed them. Still, it's SkewMond that's there first, so Myrwyn ends up falling now and losing a little bit of that lead that he had on Broken Blade. And just these cumulative leads that G2 are claiming back is allowing them to have control of the map as you see Caps take that top tower, push it out, and now move to mid.
1.5k gold lead for the Ahri. Remember how dominant Jojo was in the mid lane matchup. Once you free that Ahri up to move around to these side lanes, she becomes a lot more confident mid lane.
Along. Gorgeous Valkyrie away. G2 eyes set on the tower. Still have the Rift held in pocket as well for SkewMond.
3 towers to 0 right now for G2. KOI, how do they find ways back into this game? Well, this will be a nice advantage picked up for Myrwyn. He'll secure that top tower. The Grubs will finish that one off. Against Caps in the side lane, he still has a 2-level lead for now. He'll definitely still win out in that matchup. And I guess I'm thinking about these team fights, and I'm just looking at that build for Broken Blade. He is 0-0-0 in this game, but I'm telling you right now that if they were to play 5v5, he would become a very difficult wall to move.
Kainic Rukun and the Jack Show, so powerful in these positions. You need to try and work your way around him. That's what Myrwyn's doing in the mid lane. Looking for Labrov, good damage into the Lulu, but Whimsy's herself and is able to dodge away in time.
Labrov though now has the base. Oh, SkewMond. I mean, G2, I think they'll have to concede this Drake just due to Myrwyn's chunk here onto Labrov.
Nice poke coming through from KOI. These are the type of plays that KOI definitely need to be making. It'll give them priority around that bot river. Jojo's going to push out an extra wave as well. And Caps is heading top. He does have the TP if they want to try and contest, but it looks like they're quite happy giving up this third one.
It's only the second Drake for MKOI, third Drake of the game, as you say, Betty. So no soul point, no real threat. Can just accept, you know, yeah, Labrov got a little poked out. That's okay.
Yeah, as you say, Medi, it's not the end of the world for G2, but we can kind of see how MKOI wants to play. Myrwyn, Elyoya, Supa, any of these champions, they're capable of doing a lot of bursts.
Oh, Myrwyn can look at some here. The quickness used onto Myrwyn. There's 2 atomized. Immediately deleted, and now SkewMond and Caps are being collapsed on.
A beautiful pick from KOI. A small positioning error from G2 quickly converts into 2 kills. Alvaro in a position to try and shepherd G2 into maybe another pick, because Baron could be a possibility.
Yeah, MKOI, they want more. They want to play for this Nash here. Alvaro putting vision, trying to spot SkewMond. They're going to start up the Nash. SkewMond does have the flash, he does have the smite, but he has no vision. Caps is TPing in.
Caps is going to walk forward. Broken Blade there as well with the teleport. A 3v5. Myrwyn trying to get in with the weirding. Elyoya down to half HP. Super tanking the Baron for now. It's 6,000. The Cyclone going in. The Petrifying Gaze is going to find one, but with the all-out, they manage to kill off Elyoya. Caps dashing around with the Spear Rush. It's 2 for naught for the 3v5. Broken Blade dashing away, shielding SkewMond, flashes the wall. Caps looking for Supa, flashes in himself and still has the stopwatch. 3 for Nail and a 3v5. Make it 4. Jojo able to survive, but Labrov is here. Jojo can chase out. Jojo, the polymorph, hunts Summer here in time. The Baron does the dirty work for G2 as they clean up the fight.
This was a 3 versus 5. But Cap, SkewMond, and Broken Blade, they saved the game for G2 as we watch the fight back here. It's such a good combo from SkewMond. Jojo is doing so much damage. He's trying his best. And Supa is left in the side. He can't join the fight. And Cap just outplays him.
I mean, Jojo does as much as he can in the fight. He gets a good Petrifying Gaze onto the 2 engaged members, but it's just not enough. SkewMond, I do not know what he ate for breakfast this morning, but he needs to be eating it every day that he comes and plays on stage, because what a monster series it has been from him. Labrov and Hanshammer eventually rejoin the fight. 4 members drop on the side of KOI. They take SkewMond out in exchange, but the Baron is stopped, and G2 win another big fight.
What I love about that from G2 is that a lot of times when you're... Oh, wait, I might not even be able to speak here as Broken Blade is just walking forward.
Red Boss is going down.
He had to walk forward over the miasma to be able to dash back with the Pathmaker. Is able to survive. Talked about very, very difficult to kill, even if you have a lot of free time.
I mean, what we know for certain is KOI has the damage. What they don't have, really, is the utility. You think about the amount of CC that actually exists on the side of G2, the pushback that can come through from K'Sante, the knockup from Wukong, the charm from Ahri, and then the polymorph on top of the knockup from Lulu. I feel like it's these tools that really are the difference maker in these very close fights.
The lack of CC is what's making MKOI's comp hard to play. As G2 are trying to get full control of this top side here. Oh, Jojo might be caught.
Jojo
Does have the teleport. With the Shurelias there for the movement speed, G2 begin to collapse on the cast. TP out early doors, the Cyclone there in time, extra movement speed from it. Force SkewMond gets him in range, and Jojo will fall.
And now it's MKOI that need to try to contest this Nash 4v5 potentially. But BB did get really chunked on mid here. Maybe that dissuades G2 from trying to start the Nash.
It's a scary Nash to do against this much poke and this much damage. SkewMond already brought down to about 60% HP.
Control wall will have been spotted there by Alvaro. They know that Caps is waiting. Spirit Rush, Alvaro dancing to his teammates, dodges away from the charm.
I think with that, there's not going to be any Nash on the cards. And both teams.
Myrwyn, the charm! He went between the veil, went invis, and the charm still lands. Caps finding his man, looks for Alvaro as well, who has the grand entrance as an exit. And G2 still caught off the Baron for now.
They don't want to run the risk of starting off the Baron with Jojo back on the map, especially with Dragon in 50 seconds. They don't want to allow KOI to go on a sole point, but this could be a win condition for KOI. The gold, yes, it is in favor of G2, but it's not insurmountable just yet. They are still behind in items, of course, but if they can stall this game out, being able to play for soul, being able to get towards those later game items could be KOI's avenue back into this game.
G2 looking to get control here. I mean, MKOI trying to face check. So difficult for them. Alvaro's too squishy. There's not really anybody that can tank G2's engage. So with G2 having full control here, MKOI really need to land some crucial poke if they are to try to retake.
Super thinking if he can step up. The answer's no. To look for the Valkyrie out, but still can't escape. Caps gets the kill. Now 7-2-5 on this Ahri. A 3k gold lead for him as he looks to chase down Alvaro.
Caps, does he land the charm? He gets it onto Alvaro, but he's still quite tanky. He's going to be forced to burn the ulti, but that's going to be a Nash start from G2. It's a 4 versus 5. MKOI need to try to find the same miracle energy
Eyes
that
on
G2 had.
Jojo putting the fangs into Broken Blade. Hanshammer down to half HP. Alvaro forced towards the top of the fight. Caps are looking to be that bouncer. Myrwyn jumps in. Caps chasing Alvaro out. Myrwyn flashes the wall. The charm does not connect. Caps goes golden. Elyoya misses the shot blast. The Baron secured for G2 as they keep MKOI at bay. The flash forward from Caps. Going in with the Foxfire onto Alvaro there, but Myrwyn pops to Between Worlds and is able to escape himself. The Drake is up. Broken Blade's gonna face Jack. Dodges the petrifying gaze.
He laughs at him.
my
The top father making sons of MKOI.
He even spams the laugh emote. He's got a bit of a stretch on the camera as well. Broken blade, just with a straight up hard outplay, adding insult to injury. Elyoya forced to run away. G2 with the Baron turn their attention towards the Dragon, and KOI are quickly running out of options.
And KOI now without the Petrifying Gate, it's so difficult. That was their one piece of CC they really needed to try to dissuade this Nashor siege. G2, they won't just be looking for tier 2s, they're going to be looking for inhibitors. They're going to be looking to seal the deal on this game 3.
Still 4 waves left on this Baron buff. A little bit more than that, in fact, as G2 push through mid and bot. We've seen this in 3 out of 3 games. Not yet on those inhibitor towers, but have the cannon minion here and another wave on its way to continue the advance. Jojo sitting on 2 items, Seraphs and the Rod of Ages. Pretty tanky, but doesn't have as much damage output as he'd like. Myrwyn the one to be dealing with Caps in this mid lane, but Caps continues to use the minions to his advantage to chip away at that inhibitor tower. SkewMond stepping forward. Hun summoned that. Flash Petrifying Gaze into the quickness. Does manage to get the double charm and the double knockup, but SkewMond goes onto the backline immediately. And with the Cyclone and the decoy, he manages to get himself to safety. MKOI looked for the engage. They pulled the trigger, but they couldn't find the kill.
Both sides walk away battered and bruised, but that was a 4v5. Caps in the mid lane secures a tower.
All out onto Myrwyn, Broken Blade, looking for the 1v1. Basically a solo bowler as he pulls Myrwyn away from his team, gets the kill. And because of that, G2 can step up on the bot side.
And Hansama has the healing with the Vamp Scepter. G2, they want to keep it going. Caps might look to TP back. Maybe they even want to try to end the game here.
Myrwyn up in 40. No Petrifying Gaze, no quickness. Still flashes available for Supa, Elyoya and Alvaro, but MKOI definitely on the ropes. Reeling from the G2 onslaught, Miasma down to stop Caps going for an advance. Does have that Spirit Rush. G2 for the moment seems settled on double inhib if they can. 20 seconds on Myrwyn.
Caps will look for one more play maybe. Unless they want to take the safer route, they don't want to risk it. But still, it's going to be 2 inhibitors for G2, and hope is low for MKOI. They need a miracle to get back in this game. So all G2 now need to do is get control of this top side, play for the tier 2. SkewMond should be completely fine here.
He can just run away from this, or he can run back in.
Goes back in, uses the Cyclone. Caps is on his way with a Spirit Rush 2, takes the Scuttle Crab for Elyoya at least, with the GA popped. Flash Charm immediately with the Zeke's the Weirding, not enough to kill off Caps. He'll Spirit Rush out between worlds, doesn't quite clip SkewMond's heels. So Myrwyn unable to find the damage in the end. The Weirding again on Caps with an accelerated Shock Blast. G2 just made it out of their base. And Caps will be very rapidly returning.
Okay, we've sung the praises of SkewMond this series, but he cost himself a flash and a GA, his support's flash, and he almost got Caps killed, all for a Scuttle Crab, which he didn't even get, by the way.
Yeah, he got a little bit too overeager there. Thought he could try to end the game if he got some kills. And it is going to be some sums, as you said, Vedi, but still not quite the miracle that MKOI were looking for. Maybe a chance of hope in their eyes, but they really need either a crazy Jojopyun ultimate or a really good poke.
I mean, KOI have shown moments of brilliance throughout this series, and they're going to have to show us one in order to keep their hopes alive in this game. A pick, a steal, something. They will need to find it to bring us to the possibility of a reverse sweep, to even bring us the possibility of KOI standing a fighting chance throughout the rest of this game. G2 have turned their attention to the top tier 2 tower.
They know Jojo's in the bot lane. He was holding off on pushing out that wave, but needs the gold. Still only sitting at 2.5 items as SkewMond looks for the Cyclone, gets the double knockup. Charm coming out as well as Alvaro dives back in. SkewMond will fall for this. Super caught out there with the all out, and he'll go down as well. A 2-for-1 so far in the exchange. Jojo coming back to base rapidly, but is it going to be quick enough to save this inhibitor tower? G2 with 4, MKOI only with 3. They back away. The inhib tower chipped away. Has 2 plates left on it. Hansama still relatively untouched as he steps in on this Yunara.
The super minions are a little bit broken up. You can see after pushing out that bot wave, very far away from actually creating any pressure. Mid wave has been caught by the Aurora. 4 members now once again from G2 in top lane.
You do need to be careful. Alvaro's up in 5 seconds. If they overstay here, MKOI could try to run them down.
50 seconds on the Baron. I think this is a wise call from G2. They need to go back to base, reset, get that HP up, replenish wards. they can afford to lose the Dragon. Really, that Baron is what they need in order to close this game out. Soul is still a ways away.
Jojo finishes his third item, a Cosmic Drive. There's 4 on Elyoya. The poke, if it connects on Caps, Hansama or Labrov, will be pretty powerful. Have another look at this play under the tower. SkewMond looking for the Cyclone, but a good flash from Supa gets him out.
Yeah, it's a very heavy commitment from G2. Alvaro is still able to connect the charm onto SkewMond, which allows VOD to get the trade back. Supa, I mean, he just gets hard CC'd by Broken Blade. There's little he can do to get out of that situation. 2 for 1. Dragon respawns. G2 turn their attention to it. As we said, they'd have to wait another 5 minutes before really threatening the Soul. I think this game will end before we get to that point, unless KOI can steal away this Baron. Now back out onto the map. Vision will be denied. KOI doing what they can to enter that topside jungle as G2 look to suffocate their vision.
Yeah, G2, they just want to hold control here and make sure that MKOI have no chance of entry. As long as Elyoya can't enter the pit, Hansama and SkewMond can just two-man it here, yeah.
Gonna start it up.
So difficult. Elyoya needs to be creative here. MKOI needs to try to break the wall that is Broken Blade, with Caps off on the side.
3 fast side alterations available for MKOI. They can spot out the pit, but they don't really think that this is happening yet. Or if they do, they've already given up the ghost on it. G2 will be able to take the Baron. Double supers on the bot side. MKOI needs to clear out that wave pretty soon. The rest of them are not in the best spots for G2 to actually advance.
MKOI now, they need to try to find an engage immediately, because otherwise G2, they will just be running down your base with the super minions. With that Nash, those minions will do so much.
Importantly, mid lane inhibitor about to respawn. Bot lane as well, 30 seconds away. G2 aggregating around this mid lane inhib after just taking the top. GA still not back to SkewMond. A few seconds at least left on that. MKOI now look to defend their bot lane inhib if they can. There is a super minion on its way through this bot lane. Good damage onto Labrov. That's half his health gone.
Jojo is who they're most afraid of. His ability to turn an entire fight with a good ulti is the thing that G2 has to respect. The poke is going to continue to come down. The charm connects.
Onto Supa, no flash on him, has to get away. Uses the barrier. Jojo looks for the damage on the Broken Blade, but just doesn't have the itemization to get through that Cassante. Supa will heal back up on the fountain. The first Nexus Tower down to half HP. Knocked back with the Q3. Broken Blade did catch out Elyoya, but won't go for any more. Now the double supers here to help G2's advance. Myrwyn going in, the quickness for the Great Wild Growth will knock up Alvaro as SkewMond dives onto the backline with his Guardian Angel back up. Myrwyn tried to go in, but he gets felled first. Jojo flashing away from Broken Blade, but low mana, and not really much you can do to save his base as G2 advance. Hansama taken out by Elyoya. The last man standing over here, Jojo unable to get back, and Elyoya can't find a way in. G2, for the 10th time in a row, will be going to finals as they 3-0 MKOI.